a look at the 9-person final for this men's 1500 metres. Of course, the men's mile and 1500 metres this season has been absolutely on fire. Yared Nuguse started things going with that world record over in America, and it stood for 5 days until Jakob Ingebrigtsen broke it. But behind it, so many national records, so many good performances this season. First to the greats, Paul Al-Samimi of France, youngest in the field at 21 years old, 1:44 last year over 800 metres. Louis Gilbert is the second of 3 Frenchmen who will join this final. He's best known as a steeplechaser, really, an 8:13 man. Samuel Pilstrom is the national record holder for Sweden. He actually won the World Indoor Tour this season. He's a good competitive tactical runner. Ruben Verheyden was 4th at the European Championships, almost snuck a medal on the outside. He's their national record holder as well. Robert Falken, perhaps a bit lucky to make the final here, the German. Came down to the hundredths in the heat yesterday. There were no time qualifiers. Isaac Nada was 4th at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow last season. You have just seen Afonso, his teammate, pick up a silver medal in the women's race. Neil Gorley doesn't come in with the fastest time this season, but he's looking for back-to-back medals at this championships. It was a silver for him back in Istanbul, ahead of this man, Azzedine Habs, the Frenchman, faster on season's bests than Neil Gorley, 3:32 to his name, but he's 3 seconds behind this man, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 21 times a European champion, a double Olympic champion, double world champion, 5 world records, and he says he wants more, he says he wants all of them. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen loves to compete, he loves to compete at the European level as well. It was a lovely surprise to see him in Antalya for the European cross country last winter. A few months after the outdoor track exploits, he turned up, won another title there. We've just seen Georgia Hunter-Bell, one of the favourites, falter on the women's side. And for me, in middle distance running, if it goes slow, if that pace lags, that's when you get the upsets, and that's where you get the results you don't expect. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he hasn't been beaten in a European Championship 1500 since Martin Lewandowski beat him in Glasgow in 2019 in the indoors. He knows his way around a tactical field at a European level. Of course, we know he's vulnerable on the global level. Not getting the gold medal in Oregon, in Budapest, in Paris, but at European level, he's masterful.
Well, he is, and you know, in Istanbul 2 years ago, he led every step of the way to a championship record of 3:33.9. He ran at 26.8 last lap. He's a master of maintaining a quick tempo and then winding it up in the last 2 or 3 laps indoors, and that's such a hard tactic to contend with.
9-athlete field, and there are 6 national record holders. This is 3 Frenchmen. Those 2 Frenchmen in the middle don't have the national record, but they're super quick anyway, and they'll know how this race is going to go. The world record holder, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he likes to go off slow. It's very often the first lap, the first couple of laps, he'll sit behind and then he'll hit the front. But I wonder if he's got half an eye on his championship record of 3:33.95, set winning in Istanbul.
Stand up, please.
It's a wobble on the line for Robert Falken there, I think the German on the inside. And it's a tricky task for the rest of these men. They have to believe they can beat Ingebrigtsen. They have to believe that he'll make a mistake in his pacemaking, and they'll be, you know, the next man to be someone that managed to beat Ingebrigtsen.
Your marks.
It doesn't seem to add any stress to Ingebrigtsen. He wears the pressure very, very well. And there he goes, straight to the back. And I'd say none of the rest of these athletes are natural front runners. Nada of Portugal is sitting on a really fast 800-metre time in the last couple of weeks, so he'll trust his kick. Azzedine Habs, he's been running in the low 3:30s many times in the last sort of 18 months or so. The Frenchman at the lead at the moment. And I wonder if someone just takes this to the 3:33, 3:34 kind of territory, they might increase their chances of medal. But is that enough to run the legs off Ingebrigtsen?
Well, I'm not sure it is. I mean, he's the fastest European in history by 2.5 seconds. He's a class apart. He's the most astonishing running machine, is Ingebrigtsen, when you think he's twice a world 5,000 champion. That 3,000 record last summer outdoors, 7:17, was out of this world. It really was almost intergalactic, and he looks very comfortable at the back there. Just what he did in qualifying, Hannah. He's taking it very, very steady indeed, and not really much happening up front. It's not quick, it's not slow, and Ingebrigtsen will just be thinking, is this best you guys have got?
And Pilstrom and Farken just going round Anselmini, the French athlete there. Is that a proper move from Pilstrom? It might be. The former international orienteer turned 1500 metre runner knows how to navigate his way around stuff. But Pilstrom up onto the shoulder of Habs, and Gilbert with that steeplechase strength. I don't think he'll be pleased with how slowly this is going. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen, of course, he's going for the 3,000 metres later. And here he goes, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, as they hit the 600 metre mark. They're running around about 3:45 pace. He glides to the front. It causes chaos behind, as it so often does when Ingebrigtsen makes a move. It's a strong move. He's into the lead. Farken is down. He's disrupted Neil Gorley and Anselmini, and perhaps for Hayden there as well. Ingebrigtsen is in the lead, and suddenly this field is spread out.
Well, the acceleration only came in that last 100 metres or so, 29.56 that lap. It's single file now, and this is it. The story is, the stage is set for Ingebrigtsen to just wind it up here. Now, the rest of them can just sit in there behind him and let him control this and run away from them as is expected. Or one of them could try to go around him. It would take an effort, it would take acceleration, but it would certainly throw the cat amongst the pigeons. It would upset his game plan. He goes through with 3 laps to run, and they really are just playing his Pied Piper game.
So he's increased the pace ever so slightly, down to 28.5 there from 30-second laps. It's a bit weird here. The screen is on the inside. You can see Ingebrigtsen just cast his eye over to it then. It's not traditionally where it is at the end of the straight, but Ingebrigtsen's still using it. Everybody capable of running this pace for at least another couple of laps. That's the danger of tactical running. So many of them can live to 1,000 to 1,200 metres. But Jakob Ingebrigtsen, this time he goes through the balance, another 28-second lap.
Yeah, gradually accelerating. It's very cleverly done from Ingebrigtsen. The others won't now get on terms with him unless they put in a massive effort, and then they'd have nothing left for the finish. Gurley's left himself with a lot of work to do. I'd like to see him closer to the front there as they went through with 2 laps to run. But Ingebrigtsen leading them a merry dance.
I think there has been an increase from Jakob Ingebrigtsen over this final circuit. We'll get the lap split there. It's a 27. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is in the lead. He's been there for a few laps. He does not have a gap. Azadine Habs of France trying to hold on. Isaac Nada with all his 800 metre speed is pulling up alongside Habs. Habs has nowhere to go. Ingebrigtsen is right in front of him. Habs and Nada are going to have to wait for the home straight here if they're going to get on terms with Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen with 30 metres to go. He's done it. It is another title for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. 3:36 on the clock. It's not the fastest, but it was a masterpiece of tactical running, finishing there with a 26-1. His 22nd European gold medal. And the first half of the double title defence is complete.
Doesn't put a foot wrong, does he? It's like he lives this charmed life. I got his last 400 at 53.4. His last lap, 26.2, there or thereabouts. Very comfortable indeed. He could probably do reps at that tempo, frankly. He looked that easy. When you think that he won the European cross-country in Turkey, in Antalya, back in December, he then had a couple of months through to getting his first indoor race under his belt, the only one before these championships indoors. And he smashed the world mile record, the world 1,500-metre record. And here he comes, and he makes it look all too easy.
We're just having a look back at the tussle, I think, perhaps between Robert Farken and some of the other athletes. This is when Ingebrigtsen made his move 600 metres into the race, and you can see that Nada, I think, getting clipped by Gilliver, sets off Anselmini, and that's the end of the race for Robert Farken. And that, unfortunately, is championship racing. Farken clipped from the right, clipped from the left, and that will have affected the athletes around him as well. Luckily, the pace was still gently accelerating at that point, but Neil Gorley, so unlucky in so many major finals. The Brit caught up in that move from Farken. Sees himself off the podium again.
Well, it was the sort of race where maybe Hads and Nada thought they could have a shot at him, but his acceleration over that last 100, around the final bend, and then he gritted his teeth and really opened up over the last 30 or 40 metres, was mighty impressive. He might not be a 141, 142, 800-metre runner, but he specialises at 1,500 metres. He's made it an art running the 1,500 metres and the mile race. And it gives him time, that distance, 4 laps of an outdoor track, 7.5 indoors, to let it roll out, to dictate how it goes, and he gets it right time and time again. He's the absolute master of the art of miling.
A 22nd European gold medal for Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 3:36.56. Azadine Habs on the podium again, as he was in Istanbul. But Isaac Nada, with his first indoor European medal, upgrades his 4th in the world indoors last year. The Portuguese athlete getting the bronze medal in 3:37.10.